Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. In this episode, we'll be doing the player ratings for the match between Mumbai Indians and Rajasthan Royals. Mumbai Indians winning convincingly by 7 wickets. The bowlers did a really good job at the death, and the batsman led by Quinton de Kock, batted beautifully and comfortably won them the game. Let's start with Mumbai's player ratings, and then we'll move on to Rajasthan. For Mumbai, we'll start off with Rohit Sharma. I think he just didn't get going with the bat. He looked a bit uncomfortable. He didn't get the pace of it. It was a bit confusing because someone like Rohit Sharma would have loved this pitch, but yeah, it just wasn't his day. But captaincy wise, I think he did really well to pull things back. His field placements were good. His bowling changes were perfect as well. So I'm going to give him 5 on 10. With the bat, of course, you'd expect more from Rohit. Quinton de Kock, I think, was sensational today. He's got his timing back. His shots were magnificent. He's picking the gaps as well, and you can tell when Quinton de Kock is in this kind of mood, it becomes difficult to get him out, and he gets his runs very quickly. So credit to him there. He was a bit rusty in the beginning of the tournament, but today 70 or 50 balls, just the exact knock that he required, and it'll give him a lot of confidence. I'm going to give him 9.5 out of 10. Surya Kumar, again, looked like $1 million while he was there facing the 10 deliveries, but then got out. That's the thing with him. He starts off so well, but then throws away with his wicket. This is what happened. This is the trend in the last few games. So he'll have to work on that. But while he's there, it's a pleasure to watch. I'm going to give him 5 on 10. Krunal Pandya, I think today was really good with the bat. With the ball, he was expensive, 1 over 12 runs, but with the bat, he was extremely good. He gave Quinton de Kock good support. If he got out at that time when he came in, I think it would have put a lot of pressure on Mumbai, but he really took that pressure off them and allowed the likes of de Kock to play his natural game. So I'm going to give Krunal Pandya 8 out of 10. Then moving on to Pollard, he just did the job. I think came in 16 of 8 balls, 200 strike rate, 1.62 fours. It'll give him some confidence. I think that now Pollard and the Pandya brothers will enjoy batting on this pitch. So yeah, I'm going to give Pollard 7 on 10. I think he just finished off the job. And then Hardik Pandya not available. Unfortunately, there was not enough runs on the board for him to come and chase. Coulter slightly expensive and didn't take wickets. They probably expect some more wickets from him. He's the third seamer, and they will need him to do well, support the likes of Bolt and Bumrah. If he becomes the weak link, he'll put more pressure on them. So I think not a bad performance, but yeah, 5 out of 10 for me. Jayant Yadav, I think today was poor, very expensive. It wasn't the pitch for him. The ball was coming on nicely, and they were just using his angles and working him easily and hitting him for boundaries as well. I think he'll have to come up with some variations, change his speeds as well in the coming games. But for this game, I'm going to give him 4 out of 10. And then moving on to Rahul Chahar, I think sensational. He picked up the 2 big wickets of Butler and Jaiswal, and that pegged Rajasthan back. Otherwise, they were on course for 200. Those 2 wickets, they brought in Samson and Dubey, who played well, but it did put a kind of the brakes on it. So credit to Chahar there. I'm going to give him 9 out of 10. For me, Bumrah was man of the match because just simply look at his economy rate. 3.75 figures of 4 overs, 15 runs, 1 wicket. When you're going 3.75 when everyone's averaging 9, it just is so commendable, and he's the difference. So he's the difference between a 170 and a 200 score. He's the difference between a Mumbai victory as well. I think without his spell, they would have chased more, and maybe they would have chased it down, but it would have been way more difficult. I have to give him credit for that. And they restricted them to a score where they also increased the net run rate by finishing the game off a bit earlier. So credit to Bumrah, 10 on 10 for me. Perfect bowling. In the death, he was sensational. Bolt 5 on 10. He did pick up a wicket, but slightly expensive. I think again in the death he was amazing. But actually, let me give him 6 on 10. I think in the death he was really good. It was initially where he got hit, but I think in the death he was really good. So I'm going to give him 6 on 10. And of course, he would want to improve his new ball, get a few more wickets. But I think him and Bumrah's combination at the back end of an innings is lethal. So that wraps up Mumbai's ratings. Let's go with Rajasthan. Josh Butler, I think, looked really good. He gave Rajasthan the perfect platform. I think ideally he would need to bat on, and for this team and for himself, I think when you're set like that, you have to make the most of it. But still, I think a very good knock. I'm going to give him 8 out of 10. Jaiswal, again, a very good start. Him and Butler putting on a very good partnership, a very good power play for Rajasthan, and gave them the platform. 7 on 10. Samson, I think, excellent strike rate, batted really well, but again he needs to finish off the innings. He should have batted till the end, so I'm going to mark him down a bit on that. I'm going to give him 8 on 10. Otherwise, it was a very good batting display. Shivam Dubey, for me, again, he's in good form. He's getting the runs, but today the pace which he was getting the runs was a bit concerning. He wasn't finding the gaps. He struggled a bit. But he did find the boundary here and there, but not at a consistent basis. So that's why strike rate was okay. And again, we expect him to finish off the innings. Him and Samson batted well, and they built up a really good partnership. And it was one person needed to stay till the end and finish it off with boundaries. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. So for Dubey, I'm going to give him 7 on 10. David Miller came in the end. I'm not going to judge him like just based on facing 3-4 deliveries. Same thing with Parag, just a few deliveries. I'm not going to judge him. So not applicable for both of them. For Tewatia, 4 on 10. Again, you need your spinner to pick up wickets. He's not been doing that. I know that he's there more for the batting, but he is an all-rounder and he's your spinner. So you need wickets from Tewatia. He's expensive as well, leaking runs. He's not building that pressure. So yeah, disappointed. I think they have enough all-rounders. They'll need a proper spinner. They need to go with Markanday, I feel. So with Tewatia, I'm going to give him 4 on 10 for this. Chris Morris, slightly expensive, but picked up 2 wickets. He's a wicket taker. He got Rohit Sharma out as well, and he got what's his name, Surya Kumar Yadav, 2 big wickets. So he's shown that he can get the breakthroughs. He just needs a bit more support, and he himself needs to be a bit more economical. I'll give him 7 on 10 for this performance. Unatkat, 5 on 10. You need wickets when you're, defending, and unfortunately he couldn't get wickets. Economically wise, he was okay, not bad. But of course, I think you don't want to see more wickets from him. 5 on 10 for him. I think Sakaria, again, outstanding, 6 runs per over. But he would have ideally liked some wickets, but still, to bowl that well and that tight, it did create pressure. Unfortunately, he didn't get the support from the other end. I'm going to give him 8 on 10. And Mustafizur Rahman, again, very expensive today. 3.3 overs, 37 runs, 1 wicket, economy of 10.57. Expect more from him. He's an experienced bowler, and need him to support the likes of Morris and Sakaria. If Sakaria is going for 6 and over and you're going 10.5, there is something there, and he'd want to improve on that. So I'm going to give Mustafizur 4 out of 10. That wraps up the player ratings for this game. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and comment below with your ratings and who do you think the player of the match was. Thank you so much. Until next time, take care.